Abby's Den. Now, some of you already know I've been looking for an air threading overlocker machine for quite some time, but nothing has blown me away as yet. Until Juki brought out this new Sumato, the MO-2500, which has just been released October 2022, and I've been lucky enough to grab one of these bad boys. And here are my top 10 reasons why I chose to buy this machine. Let's get started. Now the first is this tractor foot. This tractor foot you'll see presented on industrial overlockers, not domestic overlockers, so there are no other manufacturers who are using this tractor foot. Now the way it works is it has a hinge right in the middle of the foot, breaking it in half, as it were. Now when you go over big humps on a sewing machine, you have that black dot that helps level up the foot. Not all sewing machines have it, but then there's also the humper jumper that you can use, that little gadget that will help level off your foot. On an overlocker, that's not really possible because of the two sets of feed dogs. So the way Juki have designed this foot is the hinge in the middle allows the foot to lift up and go over the hump or the seam or the gather that you're going across, and it will level off using this spring action at the back. So your fabric will always have contact with the two sets of feed dogs. You cannot achieve this perfect result every time without a foot like this. That's a big seller for anybody who does a lot of overlocking. You are going to need this knee lift. Now this knee lift means that you're going to be able to continue sewing with your hands on your work as you need them, while you might want to alter or adjust the fabric using your knee lift rather than faff around with a presser foot lever. This is going to make life so much easier for so many people. Now, if like me, you like to sew a lot of lightweight fabrics, floaty fabrics, veils and silks and chiffons, then you are going to want the rolled hem feature. You are going to the feature on this. It literally is a flick of a switch, and rather than the rolled hem stitch finger revert back and hide away, or you remove it, it actually just flicks down. And then you have another switch and you don't faff around with the tension dials and your rolled hem is achieved. It automatically knows which adjustments need to be made. They're done internally. You don't have to mess around with any of the numbers, and you just flick the switch back when you're done with the rolled hem. Now you know when you go around curves and circles and occasionally you don't get quite close up to the edge of the fabric, well, it's a very difficult thing to achieve, and only if you're real expert or very slow and patient with your circles or curves, you'll get a perfect edge result. Now with this machine you get two very useful tools that are going to help you achieve perfect results every time. The first one is a curve foot. Now the curve foot, nothing special about it other than it's small, and it means that you can get closer to the edge of your fabric and achieve that curve as you need it, and you'll be able to work with your fabric better. It's going to allow you to have better control of your fabric. The second part to this is the rolled hem stitch finger. It drops out of the way when you are doing a rolled hem, but when it's actually being used, it is part of the chaining mechanism. So your chain is produced on the stitch finger. So what Juki have done is give you a micro adjustment, a fine tuning adjustment to that stitch finger, so that stitch finger shifts across, giving you a smaller loop. So it's only a tiny tweak. So it's a tweaking width adjustment, the toit, and it's going to allow you to get an even closer stitch. I think that's incredible. And I said it was two parts, but actually there's another part. What they've done is make the knife sit closer to the needles. So rather than have that big gap that overlockers tend to have in general, there's a smaller gap. So you're going to get an even more accurate result every time. I love it. Now they've moved away from that pumpy, squeezy plastic thing that pumps an air through, and they've gone for a more mechanical jet-powered pumping action. So you're going to get a more powerful stream of air jetting through the pipes, which means now you can use those embroidery threads, that woolly nylon, and they're going to feed through nice and smoothly without causing any problems to your machine. Although they do still give you that looping thread to help you in case any threads get trapped. I'm not foreseeing any problems with the threading on this machine. Now number 9, we're looking at the needle threaders. This machine comes with a needle threader and they are so proficient. Looking at the hooks inside the needle threader, they're not those little tiny wires but actually metal pieces. Now one of my favourites again is the 2-thread overlock system. On many overlockers you get that fiddly little gadget called the spreader that covers up the eye of the upper looper. That means the upper looper is now disengaged and you're only using the lower looper, giving you a 2-thread flat lock seam or maybe a 3-thread flat lock seam. So that's great, but on this machine we're just flicking a switch. We are not having to find that little gadget that we've misplaced. We're not having to lose it inside the overlocker and fiddle around with it. We literally just flick a switch, jobs are good.